Hi everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have a really cool Divine Feminine read with lots of Divine Masculine information in it. And I have sand art, and I'll do oracle cards at the end. It's a beautiful sunny day here. The energy is great, even though I only got like 4 hours sleep last night. I couldn't go to sleep till, actually I think it was just before 5. I was just going to get up and start my day, and I must have just passed out at that moment. Because then I slept 4 hours, so at least I got that. But I feel fine. So some good energy today. And for me, it always helps when the sun is out. So for the sand art today. Today is December 4th, 2018. In the sand art, again, the bride and groom, the twin bride and groom come up again. I was getting like one big bride and groom are making the way for the next. I also was picking up on a sukkah, someone reading scripture, ironing, like an iron, but also ironing out details, someone's handbag lifted, and I was getting someone like a nun or a Muslim or an old man accused of taking someone's bag, and it actually could be in the church. Also, ball boys out at church next to the runner, which was kind of a funny parallel, because it was, you know, talking about ball boys, which are in tennis, but it was like right, you know, he was crouching down next to the runner for the bride to come down the aisle. And the runner. So, and at this wedding, there's a lot of commotion. It's a big crowd. The bride stops at a special altar to light a candle before she makes her way down the aisle. Before she walks down the aisle, this wedding is huge, possibly outside. I was seeing drones, and also I saw an egg hatched. So I don't know if she gets pregnant on her wedding night, but I definitely saw an egg hatch as she walks down the aisle and attaches to her. And then I see them take off. As they take off together, it's like they take off in a blast, and like the Holy Spirit rises out of them. It was very cool. Then I saw a rabbit and a mongoose making a deal, or maybe a rabbit and a kangaroo making a deal. So I don't know if there's a cartoon like that, but I was definitely getting this cute little energy. Also, a woman, there may be a woman performing at this wedding, like maybe a singer, but she was in the distance, away from the crowd, up higher. And I was seeing dinosaurs coming in. So I don't know if somebody might have a wedding with a Jurassic Park theme, but I was seeing a dinosaur. But then I saw like dinosaurs roaming. But then I see like, where did I write that down? There's like after I saw the dinosaur, I see like this huge octopus take over the land. Or it could just be referencing someone with a lot of tentacles, or maybe someone with a lot of hands taking over the place. But also then I was getting a meteor hit, like it literally looked like a meteor hit into the earth. And then I was seeing a dog dressed up for winter, like in some kind of winter outfit. It was kind of cute, actually. But there was a lot of commotion around this, and it was a huge thing, this wedding. So let me know if you hear about any weddings, okay? But they're definitely coming in. It's amazing how the sand goes into the same configuration of the bride coming down the aisle to the groom. It's not like something easy for the sand to just do, and it's come back multiple times. It's very cool. So for the Divine Feminine today, and again, it is December 4th, 2018. The 4 is all about the Emperor, about control and achievement and power, stability, building a huge empire. But the day adds up to 27-1, which is the Ace of Wands. So there's big passion here of the Emperor. There's a lot of energy there. And I have to tell you, wow, this read. when I wasn't able to fall asleep last night, I was actually able to connect with my dad, which I'm not usually able to connect with him. I haven't really had many visits with him, although I have connected a little bit. And it was great just to see him laughing, and he was kind of making fun of me, but laughing with me at the same time. Talking about the journey as being, because I managed research at University of Penn, so he was paralleling the journey to how long a research project takes. It takes time for everything to unfold, to fully develop. And he was also like, and he could be very impish, like, and it was at the end, he was kind of excited to see how I react to what's to come. And he had that look on his face, like when he gave me niacin one time. My father was a physician, but he gave me niacin one time when I was young, just to see me run around the house on fire for a half an hour, because he thought it was funny. But that was the same smirk that he had on his face when he wants to see my reaction to what's to come very soon. And also, my parents had 3 dogs, and their last dog, Paris, had just died right before I got hit by a car, and I was actually talking to him. I just found out they put him down, and I went out for a jog, and I was talking to him during my jog. He was connecting with me, and I was like laughing and then crying because he was cracking me up. And then right after he went away, I crossed the street where I got hit by a car. So I told my dad to thank Paris for for the getting hit by a car incident. So he was kind of cracking up. But just to say the dogs were coming up as well, because I told my dad to say hi to the dogs. Let's see. For the Divine Feminine, this was done at 10:14 to 17. I finished putting the cards down a.m. this morning. There were no majors at all for the Divine Feminine, which is very unusual that there's none. And actually, yesterday, there was none for the Masculine, which is very amazing. I mean, they're really paralleling now. When I do the Masculine and Divine Feminine reads, there's so many parallels that are happening right now. And now it doesn't even matter if I do a Masculine read, because if I do a Feminine read, it's usually a lot about the Masculine anyway. Or there's parallel situations where they're both happening the same but in different ways. There were 3 pentacles, 3 swords, 3 cups, and 2 wands for the Divine Feminine, so it's perfectly balanced. The after the read card was transition, so that is 1 major, but it's after the read. And it's in the Syrian Starseed deck. It's definitely a portal, that we're going through a portal. And this is definitely coming up. We're coming up to 12/12. So it's very significant. 12/12 and 12/21 are huge this year. And there's so, not only is today the Emperor and the 27 of the Ace of Wands, but there was so much masculine energy in the Divine Feminine read. So the court cards, the Knight of Cups, the King of Pentacles, the King of Cups, the Knight of Swords, the King of Swords, and the Page of Wands. 6 court cards of masculine energy. 3 kings, 2 knights, and a page. 3, 2, 1. We have just begun. And that's so weird, because I just said, didn't I say that yesterday? 1, 2, 3, and then I quoted the song title that came up yesterday in the code, and today is 3, 2, 1. This is so cool. All right, so the coding and the numbers had everything to do with the number 6, which of course is love and love, family, and community. 55 came up, which is the Ace of Swords, and then 3332 also came up, and then the 321. It was all about mastering today and completion. Again, yesterday Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine both got the cards from the numerology deck. Completion and karmic completion. Again today. Karmic completion and completion again for the Divine Feminine, along with relationship change. So amazing again. This never happens. But it's all about mastering. It was like master. Mastering both sides of the scales with truth and love. Also with Pi and the Divine Feminine was coming up, making sure to integrate your your masculine and feminine within first, to the nth degree, and also shaman of fire was coming up, to become whole, to complete the cycle. Love of a major supporter of crystals or energy. The divine feminine integrates inner divine masculine and feminine to be present and complete. So a lot about crystals was coming up, which is interesting because I don't usually work a lot with crystals, although I have crystals and I keep them. I was actually specifically doing some work last night with them. I got some of the downloads that I've received over the past year or two definitely have to do with fluorite, and then also celestite, which is celestine, which is the energy they use in the shaman hallucinogen experiences. Okay, that's celestine or celestite. So you can look that up if you want, but I just got a celestine stone in the mail. So I was working with it last night with the fluorite, which I was also prompted several times about the third eye, and I've been trying to clear my third eye more. And boy, were they powerful. And again, use your muscle testing, right? For yes or no. Yes. Right? No. Okay. You can use that to ask if the stone is good for you. Okay. And I was definitely one of the stones that I picked up, I put back down because it wasn't good for me. But the fluorite and the celestite that I thought would be great were definitely coming up as yes for me. So you might want to try them. I was sitting it on my back injuries as well. There's a couple different stones I'm working on with that, so I'll let you know if anything comes up for sure. Also, you may love mastering your energy when you were not present and whole, or you may be coming up as sick of mastering your energy when not present and whole, because we've been doing this for a while now. And also, sister was coming up. So there may be love of a sister or sick of a sister. I was getting love of a sister of crystals. So maybe a sister who loves crystals or just likes working with energy or money or whatever it is. But also could be sick of your sister of cry stalls, the same person. So whatever fits for you. And then I was getting EIEIO from Old McDonald's and human resources. So there may be someone's sister who needs to work with human resources. Maybe they're going through some issues in a relationship that needs to come to a culmination. But it's all about the divine feminine extending herself out to help people figure out their own journeys as well as their own. Okay? But also it's coming up from EIEIO, Old McDonald's farm was coming up. So if McDonald's means something to you, farm, and then I was getting a lot of different things from Old McDonald's farm, right? So so I'm singing it, and it's with a chick here, so it could be definitely for the divine feminine or the divine masculine, with a lot of chicks around them, with a moo-moo here and a moo-moo there, so I was getting like the women who like to wear the moo-moos, a lot of that around, so that might be around someone's family. With a quack here, somebody might be being called a quack. And then a nay here. That might be Nene Leaks, but nay here and a nay there for horses. So horses may be coming up as well. But then I got stuck and I said, because I'm thinking of the goat, of course, because that's Capricorn and climbing the mountain. And I'm like, what does a goat say? I don't remember that one. So I looked it up and I couldn't believe that's actually a very common question because I never thought of it before. And one of the responses said that the goat's more of a ma and the sheep is more of a ba. So then I was getting mama and baba, which has to do with mother and child. And actually, I don't know if I brought this up yesterday. Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene were coming up yesterday. Did I not say that? I woke up yesterday when I started doing the read. I was getting from West Side Story, say it soft and it's almost like praying, Maria. And then I got Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary. So that was, and Spirit's connecting with me. So they were coming up, and they're coming up again now, mother and child, mama, baba. So there may be, you know, children being born. Obviously, we've definitely had. I've had 2 nieces having children, and then another one who just found out they were pregnant. So there's a lot of pregnancy news out there. But again, for the divine feminine or the divine masculine, the chicks here and chicks there, the moo-moos, the quacks, nay-nays, mamas, and babas. So if you come up with any good ones, let me know, because they were all fitting. And then also for that, cats and dogs, so woof woof, so someone might be dealing with woofers. And then meow meow. So whatever comes up for you, you know, comment below. I'd love to hear what comes up for you when you hear that. So for the divine feminine read, this ends up in this portal energy, right? The card after the read is the transition card. It's literally a picture of a portal, walking through the portal, the transformation energy. It starts out though with the 8 of crystals, doing crystal work. And it could just be about work. It doesn't have to be about crystals. But since I was working with crystals, I definitely wanted to emphasize that. The energies coming up in the beginning of the read were Aries, Taurus, Pisces, Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius, and Cancer. So like the first half of the read was, those energies were coming up. So I'm definitely getting people at work. And although it can definitely be the divine feminine work, I was also getting the divine masculine. It can be both for sure. So the underlying energy is about the divine feminine and the divine masculine, both working. Some may be working with crystals, or just working with energy, or working with money, to battle the wheel and negative self-talk. So the wheel of fortune, which may be slowed down, or it may be in reverse, just the retrogrades may have done that. And negative self-talk, as the divine feminine becomes more balanced and not afraid to show it. The Emperor needs to know more. The Emperor was all around this read. And of course today is the Emperor. It was all of the underlying energy had the Emperor in it. The Emperor needs to know more at the crescent moon. Is he a man or a boy with big shoes to fill? Scales, armored with truth but not love. And then I was getting a 10 or 12 domino effect. Is he a young cowboy? A cowboy on a mountaintop? Oh, and that's so weird, because I just watched the weirdest movie, Lobster. It's such a strange movie. I don't know if you want to watch it, but I don't know who came up with this idea. It was so strange. It was about people who couldn't find partners, so they would go to this institution where if they didn't find a partner within a certain amount of time, they changed him into an animal. So they had to pick an animal to be, and this guy, you know, wanted to be a lobster. But this is coming up with the cowboy. Like, why would I say cowboy? Why would I normally say cow and boy? But it's definitely resonating with that movie. Is he a young cowboy in a mountaintop? Or is he the logical man? And then Supertramp came up. Logical man and Supertramp. You know, there's definitely some divine masculines out there who have been Supertramps. So there's some parallels here. Also then Cheaper by the Dozen came up, and Cheap Trick. So who's cheap? All right, so somebody might be just taking care of a lot of family, but also maybe sneaky, right, and cheap. So there's definitely going to be different. Obviously, all the divine masculines are going to be different, but this is coming up, and it could be the karmics as well. This wasn't all just about the divine masculine. There are definitely karmic masculines and the divine masculine coming up in this energy here. But again, I thought that was so funny. So the Emperor needs to know more at the crescent moon. Is he a man or a boy with big shoes to fill? Scales armored with truth, but not love, in a 10 or 12 domino effect. Is he a young cowboy in a mountaintop? A lot of the masculines like to hike as opposed to meditate. Or a logical man. And then we come up, you know, let's look at the lyrics from that song from Supertramp. And then Supertramp, have you been a Supertramp? Cheaper by the dozen, have you been cheap? Or have you been you know, cheap monetarily, or have you been cheap in sleeping around? And then Cheap Trick. Are you a cheap trick? Or are you cheap, and sneaky? Okay, and then I was getting the complete package. So it's like this Emperor, you know, thinking they're all that. And then I was getting the 12 domino effect. So a lot was coming up around the domino effect. So then I looked it up because I knew there were some more messages that were coming up regarding this. And I got March 12, 2017, the domino effect part. And this is from YouTube. And it stated just in the header, Jesus encounters the women at the well in John 4. Here we start to understand how one action affects another, and so on and so forth, creating the domino effect. Okay? Jesus at the well with the women. He encounters the women at the well in John 4. And here we are on the 4th with the Emperor, John 4. The next entry was You Are My Sunshine that caught my attention. You Are My Sunshine, which comes up a lot in my past few years when I was doing cards. And then it says Chapter 12, A Domino Effect. And this is from Wattpad.com. W-A-T-T. I don't know if it's Wattpad or Wattpad.com. Chapter 12 was the domino effect. Chapter 13 says big or small. A lie is a lie, even by omission. Chapter 14, becoming entangled in dishonesty. Chapter 15, some painful truth. And this is where we are now. And we're in 12, the domino effect. Chapter 13 is the portal, right? So we have the portal here in the outcome position, or the solution. Okay. So then the next entry I was getting, that a smaller domino can topple a much bigger domino. So if you put a smaller one next to a bigger one, it can get bigger and bigger and bigger, and so a very small domino can make a huge effect. And that was from store.seedbed.com. So working toward family emotional happiness. And this can be for both the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine. 3 generations of men was coming up very strongly here. Like I said, there's masculine energy all over the place here. 3 generations of men. The Emperor, who may be losing his mental capacity somewhat. The King of Swords, with 12 notches between his legs, or females, guarded by scales of armor, law, and military. And the Page of Wands, excited to hike in the mountains. And of course work with crystals. The pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is the happy family that leads the way with success and honor, valor and a white horse, dignified, and pie as the ringer. So that can be a metaphor. It can actually be a pie that is like the cherry on top. In a good family, someone bakes pies, but it was also about the integration of the Divine Masculine and Feminine, the pie inside, okay? So the pie is the ringer. A natural decor and adornments, but the Queen of Wands reversed is unstable or angry about a move, needing to see things in another way than just hanging out with family. Family happiness is taking precedence over the Queen of Wands reverse, her wants and needs, to be wise and balanced at work. The underlying energy for the Divine Feminine comes up here, keep an open mind, and deception is underneath that. So if you've been deceived in the past, still need to keep your mind open as well as your heart. The Emperor sits on stone with a metal, stone, or wooden staff, red and white silks, a red cape like Superman, and a gold crown, and a trophy of a stone bride, naked and bathing in light for all to see, within a stunned, lifeless look on his face. He's been focusing on body parts, calves, feet, butts, boobs, thin, lanky arms, muscular arms, flowing hair, even how they part their hair, how natural they are, sexy, athletic, red or brunette, flower child with corsets and power women in control, a healthy eater, a world traveler, or the fountain of youth. He has women all around him, at work and in family and children. Beauty surrounds him, and yet why is he not happy or fulfilled? And then the underlying energies is new beginnings for the Divine Feminine, and underneath that is time out for new beginnings. And it was just 4 2442, and 24 is the Queen of Wands, who we're talking about, and 42 is the Two of Cups. So it's definitely about a Queen of Wands relationship. It can be the Divine Feminine, but I'm getting it more so as the karmic of the Divine Masculine, but it can go both ways. So the Emperor reversed is out of control, has dropped the ball, but maybe breaking patterns of extreme holding back of passions, of sexual frustrations, of dropping the facade, possibly throwing tantrums, and having anger about 3 generations of bad judgments and poor decisions, and deliberation of one-night stands. Men at work with passions out of control become players, uninspired and frustrated little boys having tantrums. And this was very interesting because anxiety, frustration issues are all around anger. That right knee anger issue that keeps coming up, they're all the same form of the same thing, okay? It's anger, which everything comes from fear and pain. But there's anger that is guised in frustration and anxiety. So you really have to go back down to the anger. What is the anger around this? Why are you feeling anxious and frustration? It's all about fear. And then I also was getting, with the 3 generations, there's 3 generations in my family of my father and his father. They were all Constantines. Constantine, Constantine, and Constantine, which was very interesting. I didn't know my father's biological father because I didn't even know that his father wasn't his biological father until about 10 years ago. So his biological father was from Russia, and so I'm getting this Russian emperor energy. So this is about the old templates. It's not really about my grandfather. But I was getting that example of the Russian emperor. Then my father is the King of Swords, which he was Gemini. And then my son, whose middle name is named after them, and he's like the Page of Wands. Okay, and he's got a lot of anxiety issues and frustration. You know, he struggled with that a lot growing up. Of course, he's much better now, but that's been a common theme. So this could also be a father at war with 2 children, most likely masculines, a war at work, or a war in the making at work. The Emperor reversed, the King of Swords can also be the Knight of Wands reversed, okay, who is very passionate, but is either a player or is kind of zonking out from really tired, like becoming inspired to rush in passionately and get errands done or work, whatever, things that need to get done, physical work, but then like conking out because they're so exhausted. So it's an Emperor reversed, King of Swords, Knight of Wands reversed, and then the Page of Wands reversed, which can be a child or it could be an adult acting like a child. They're either uninspired, frustrated, or having tantrums. You know, or just they could be exhausted too, or they just be very angry. So the Queen of Wands is also reversed and looking on or moving on. She's kind of separate from these 3 guys, but in the situation. The end of the family emotional cycle with new beginnings after a time out, sacrificing the one for the whole. The Queen of Wands may be sick of sitting around a falling apart house giving attention to the family, or the entire family is hung out to dry, or the family hung the Queen of Wands out to dry. Family working to balance the scales of brain wars, that anxiety. It's all about not being able to get out of your head, circling in your head and fighting with yourself. Sneakiness, but also can be the enemy, right? So family working to balance the scales of brain wars, sneakiness, or using a workhorse in separation, all right, so using someone, even though you don't want them in your life anymore for work reasons, in separation and heartbreak, feeling sadness and loss, fessing up to a third-party heartbreak at work, and sexual frustration, trying to be wise and hang out with family. Okay, so the foundation has to do with, now there's 3 kings in the read, but they can all be different men, but I was also getting just the energies of mastering for the Divine Feminine. So the King of Cups in the foundation, I was definitely getting back, maybe holding back passion and physical activity and be deceiving. Okay, so this is one water energy. Or maybe just letting go of full moon emotions, maybe really tired mastering emotions around family happiness and being open to angels hanging around. Okay? So this could be one King of Cups. But it could also be about the Divine Feminine mastering unconditional love, but kind of tired right now, coming down from this full moon. She might be a little bit exhausted from, errands and running around, maybe doing a lot of Christmas shopping or whatever religion you are, running around right now. It's always a busy season. Centrally is the Knight of Cups, a tidal wave of emotion. The Queen of Cups and the King of Wands are facing in the same direction, but blocked by no balls of the King of Wands to approach the Queen of Cups, or there's a weak Leo blocking them. Now the King of Wands is out of a mental prison, or could be actual prison, or the Divine Feminine could be challenged by a King of Pentacles, who could be a Taurus or Capricorn, or both, but challenged by this King of Pentacles energy, which also can be mastering finances, or just practical life, okay? But the challenge is the King of Pentacles. And this also could be a person who was just released from mental prison or from actual prison after detoxing from the world, like someone who's taken a break from the world. The Knight of Cups, healing from sadness and loss of separation, defending himself in a marriage or to an establishment about an innocent message of love, or worried about children going out into the world surrounded by dark leaders in all kinds of institutions. A feminine innocent who is chained to the movies. Like they're addicted to going to the movies, or like me, watching movies every night. Or kids who like scary movies that aren't good for them. And what is these, what kind of wounds are these movies causing these children? The King of Pentacles is breaking ties with a marriage, a church, or an establishment to be pure again, balancing and recognizing the dark and the light in the present moment. Now, for the Divine Feminine, the Empress has been unsatisfied, clinging to the burdens due to lack of faith, healing to get over grief of rejection and wanting to die, and feeling sexual frustration or lack of inspiration. Happy and stable in the transformation process now. Foolish to carry others' burdens. To allow kids to grow up as well. So you need to allow your children as well to take on the burdens that they're, as the age is appropriate, to take on their own burdens, to learn from their experiences. And here, there could be a Cancer, Aquarius, Fire masculine who's over the loss of a split. King of Wands standing up for themselves to church and family, legacy, fantasy. And I got the download of divided by religion and politics. Okay, so it's that divide of religion and politics. So I was getting a couple different guys, like I'm mostly getting for the Divine Feminine, the King of Cups as mastering energy, and the King of Pentacles could as well. But I was getting a karmic and the Divine Masculine around the Divine Feminine. A karmic who hasn't let go. And this was more coming up as Aquarius, Cancer, Fire energy, who is over the loss of the split, this King of Wands standing up. I was getting the King of Wands as the karmic energy here, although it could be the Divine Masculine, standing up for themselves to church and family, legacy, fantasy, but divided by religion and politics. So there's a Cancer, King of Wands, fantasizing about the Empress since they were a child, and through marriage and divorce, getting wish of passion and stability without commitment in that relationship, and now awake to the harsh truth of what they lost. Soon the Divine Feminine's heart opens to the twin, dropping the facade, breaking patterns, allowing others into Rapunzel's castle. So that's the Divine Feminine's heart. An offer of money or new life was not satisfying without commitment to self, to source, to divine marriage for the Divine Feminine. The King of Pentacles reversed may be ungrounded with loss of status and money, but is excited or inspired like a teenager again to see the Divine Feminine. Now that he has detoxed and released anxiety, the Divine Feminine is a winged messenger of truth, and Gabriel was coming up here, sending 5D messages the Master of Love, the King of Cups, spending savings on overindulgences, or just overindulging in using savings to just relax and not be anxious and stressed, and being patient, allowing these indulgences and being patient. Or the Divine Feminine is mastering her emotions, draining savings, not socializing, and but still being a patient angel. The cards that came up for the Divine Feminine are It is Safe to Love, Worth Waiting For, and Flirt. Around the Divine Feminine, where the energies were coming up as Capricorn, Taurus, Pisces, Sagittarius, and Aries. And also is connecting the Empress to the Page of Cups reversed, and the Emperor to the Page of Wands reversed, like the twins, and needing to grow up in what area of their personality or their wounds that they need to mature in. So, as you know, they've come up a lot during the past few years, and I've said that before, that the Page of Cups was the Divine Feminine and the Page of Wands was the Divine Masculine coming together as their inner children. So they're both coming up reversed here, where they need to mature. So the Divine Feminine needed to mature in her emotions and not being so emotional, and the Divine Masculine needed to mature in his passions and not being immature in his passions. So around the Divine Feminine, or how she may be seen, is the King of Swords, with an opportunity to rise above suffering and stress, and gain back his sovereignty, and get a taste of his own medicine, and be forced to listen to the harsh truth. Okay, and this can be a karmic or the Divine Masculine. The Divine Feminine is the Knight of Swords, telling the King of Swords the truth whether he likes it or not. Love cannot be contained. The Emperor used to want make-up casual sex with the sexy Queen of Wands, but now longs for quiet and a certain someone's feet or toes. And then I was getting my toes, because that's something that came up for me a long time ago. My toes, or my toes. The Divine Feminine clears blocks, needs to clear blocks about the masked boy with the inner flame. Looking back, doing whatever people told him to do, a zombie really, always deliberating a bad childhood or a past love, hoping a past love returns to his life, and working to align with details to recover in a practical way from injuries. So for both the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine. But also the Divine Feminine may have experienced someone like that when she was young, which may have caused a wound, which was why it was so difficult to deal with the Divine Masculine being immature in his passions. Because there may have been someone who hurt the Divine Feminine early on in her teenage years. So the cards that came out for the numerology deck, like I said, were completion, relationship change, and karmic completion. So huge endings, and we end on the after card of the portal, or the death card. Opening heart wide to the present moment amidst harsh truths, arrests, institutionalizations, so someone might be in rehab, passionate awakings, longing, frustrations, journaling, grief and pain, loneliness, to choose a path of authenticity, breaking patterns of performing or juggling, to just see the beauty of the moment, swirling in a portal of great transformation, of injustice over others not wanting to come together to co-create, to magically end the battle with a message of love and purity. With death, there is always birth. In leaving a job or a church or an institution of creativity or higher learning, there is a magical transformation, a quantum leap, magic third energy, a birth of love, new, innocent, and pure. So the energies coming up at the end were all about Taurus, Capricorn, Pisces, Scorpio, Libra, and Aries. Working, again, in summarizing, working with crystals and balance, mastering love and family. The Knight of Swords messages, the King of Swords, with anxiety and big emotions of love, erupting and releasing, as the King of Pentacles comes to the Divine Feminine's heart, masked with a flame, getting over grieving to open his heart to the present and walk through the portal to be reborn. Also, working on balance without anxiety or frustration, mastering unconditional love, to offer love to the King of Pentacles by getting over grief and sending messages of truth from her heart to others, including the King of Swords, masked boy, opening as well to the present portal. Okay, so that's the read, but also I wanted to bring up some of the energies in the read because there's a lot of players here. There's a lot of people and masculines here. I was getting, if there are masculines here, whether they be karmic or divine masculine, I was getting a Sagittarius air masculine, a Leo. So the Sagittarius air energy was like needing the courage or needing liquid courage to actually chase after the divine feminine after they've been released from a work commitment, but also the same for a weak Leo, water masculine, chasing the divine feminine after being released from a work commitment. And both of them could be a divine feminine, a karmic or a divine masculine. The Knight of Cups, King of Pentacles is the challenge. And this could also be Capricorn, air, water, and fire here in this person. And also in the environment of the divine masculine, the King of Swords could definitely be about just communications with stuff that you need to deal with today. Like it could be taxes, it could be legal, court stuff, but it could also be military stuff. So anything having to do with that, police. For example, I got a very minor, I had a minor tax call that I dealt with today. So it could just be something very simple. So that could be all that the Knight of Swords really is. But like I said, the Emperor and the Page of Wands were all around the underlying energy. So it could be a father and son, but it also could be the Emperor as the masculine and his inner child as the Page of Wands. Feeling out of control. The Emperor is watching, needing information, still wanting more information, but regretting and also feeling out of control and stunned into submission. Also, the Divine Feminine is mastering emotions, maybe using crystals, energy, time, money, whatever it is. The issue being that the Divine Feminine has a great need to love emotionally, but needs to let go of the sorrow of the past. That's the surrender. Communicating, like I said, about taxes, legal, military issues. The Empress is getting her wish, fantasy union, but may be worried about a child and the harsh truth of opening up her heart. So it could be worrying about her child or her own inner child, transforming fully through this portal into the purity of love. Death and rebirth of the Page of Cups and the Page of Wands. Okay, so really beautiful read today. And like I said, so much masculine energy, so it's definitely rubbing off onto the feminine today as well. We have the Ascension deck. Excuse me, I just want to take a sip of water. Okay, by the way, I read lemon is good for detoxing your pineal, as well as MSM, but you can look it up online. A lot of good sites. Clear and align. Take a deep breath, everyone. Take a deep breath. And I'm 22. Actually, 2's been coming up a lot the past couple days. 22, 222. And what time? Oh, yeah, last night too. I finished my meditation last night at 2 a.m. because I couldn't sleep. And then I looked at the clock again. It was 2:20 and then 2:25, which the 5 on the clock, you know, with the squaring, is like the reflection of the 2. So it's like 225, but the reflection. Okay. All right, so what is the message for everyone today, this December 4, 2018? What do we need to know, Mother, Father? What is it that we need to know this December 4, 2018? What does everyone need to know? Okay. The bottom is number 4, the gold and silver violet flame. Okay. Perfect. Number 4. It was just 4444. That means your angels are there waiting for you to ask for their assistance. Okay, 4444, as we pick number 4. 4 is huge today. All about manifesting on this earth plane. You know, even though we're going into 5D, we're dealing with the 3D, 4D earth. The affirmation is, I am the golden silver violet flame. It's all about Saint Germain and transmutation. The gold of wisdom and the silver of grace and harmony. The gold of wisdom, we're in 12, the hangman wisdom, and the silver of grace and harmony. My mother was actually Mary Grace. She is, I'm sorry, she's in an Alzheimer's facility. But yes, the Jewish woman named Mary Grace. You create the powerful gold and silver violet flame. The angels suggest you invoke this mighty energy to clear the ascension path ahead of you, to keep your light pure and clear, which we're talking all about with the Page of Cups. Okay, so when you use this energy of transmutation, this gold and silver violet flame, to people, situations, and places, you facilitate wondrous transformations. And we end on transformation. This powerful light transmutes the old and raises everything to a very high frequency. And like I said, the affirmation is, I am the gold and silver violet flame. And that was 4, like I said, the emperor of building structure. It's the early stages of manifestation, learning how to survive on this planet. And then we have, as the card that was picked for you, Archangel Metatron's retreat, which is very strong for the masculine. I always see Metatron as the overseer archangel for the masculines. It's number 28, is the 2 of Wands, it's the twin flames, and it's a 1, which is all about the masculine energy, very strong. The 8 is of inner and outer strength, staying at 0 point, manifesting on the inside, being strong. Excuse me, which was coming up in the read, that these masculines were being, you know, weak and kind of cowardly, you know, not having the balls to come forward in love. You know, maybe used to getting their own way because women always come to them. So they never had to do any work around that. But this was coming up as the 8 of the inner strength, the divine masculine needing the courage to be true to himself, to be authentic, with the 2 on the outer personality as being more feminine, not being selfish and just needing to have your way all the time, but seeing both sides of the situation and using their own inner femininity in that respect. Archangel Metatron's retreat is above the Temple of Luxor, Egypt, where he holds the ascension energy for the world. He maintains his energy by bringing forward spiritual discipline. He suggests you commit to a spiritual practice if you do not already have one. Luxor is the spiritual throat chakra of Earth. As it ascends, people will communicate higher wisdom and link telepathically with all life forms. You're asked to send love and wisdom to all sentient beings. This card invites you to visit Metatron's retreat in your sleep to accelerate your spiritual growth. The affirmation is, I'm visiting Metatron's retreat in my sleep tonight. Okay, so very good advice to connect with the masculine energy today, since it's so powerful today. And 28 happens to be my address. So, again, and Egypt has been coming up a lot. Somebody was going to Egypt. I was actually going to look something up, a group that was going to Egypt, and another that was going to Hawaii, which brings up, you know, Atlantis and Lemuria. We have the past life deck. Take another deep breath. Clear in a line. Clear in a line. Clear in a line. Clear in a line. Okay, what is the advice that everyone needs today? This December 4, 2018, what does everyone need to know? What does everyone need to know? What is the advice? The bottom is monk or nun. Okay. And I just put my hands together in prayer for when I said, say it soft and it's almost like praying. So that was for Mary. That was Mary Magdalene saying, you do not need to be a nun to break those vows of silence, of celibacy. Make sure you cut all those cords with those promises. You are here to experience your beauty. And the cards that came out for you guys is galactic and spouse. So this is an interesting switch from yesterday, which was the karmic energy of military and leaving. This is about a very positive galactic past life with your twin. Or your present life. Your spouse, your galactic spouse, your divine spouse. This is about your union. And I was going into astral travel so easily last night. I was so tired, you know, by 4 o'clock and you just want to go to sleep. I just gave up on trying to go to sleep, and of course that's when you go to sleep. But yeah, there's just a point where I was just traveling. And definitely, I don't know if it was last night or the night before, I was going to Sirius B. But definitely, this is definitely bringing up reunion with your twin. And I want to bring up Marisol too. I'm seeing she's got a parasol, and I just heard the name Marisol, so that's a message for someone. And also maybe it will rain. It's raining men. They were singing that in my head. What is it? Hallelujah? It's raining men. Hallelujah. Yeah. It was like, you know, those big bold voices singing that. It's raining men. It's from the stars. Really cool message, and Spirit's connecting with me. And there's, oh, that's so, this is your I was just getting a message from the Marys that this is they're blessing your unions. It's making me want to cry, actually. That doesn't happen very often. I mean, not that I don't cry, but that my connections make me want to cry. Thank you, Marys. It's going to make me cry again, so I better stop that. All right, so now for the Journey of Love. This is a really special reading today. And we're going to be coming up, while I'm shuffling here, we're going to be coming up, it's 52:22, but we're going to be coming up on 52:52. 52:25 just passed. And 52 is all about the Queen of Swords. 22 is the Fool. 25 is the Knight of Wands, and then 52:52 would just be the Queen of Wands. It's all about, she's the nun, she's in mourning. She's the one who vowed to silence. It's the divine feminines who vowed to silence and celibacy because of their mourning of their twin, and to let go of that. Cutting of that cord is cutting of the holding on to the angst and the sorrow of what happened in this life. The surrender. Okay, so take a deep breath. That was a really beautiful message. Wow. Journey of love. Journey of love. Journey of love. Wow. That's all I gotta say. Alright, so what is the energy, Marys, for us? What is this final message from the Journey of Love that everyone needs to hear today? Mary and Mary, Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene, please. What is your message? It's December 4 of the Emperor 2018, and the Page of Cups and the Page of Wands. What is the message? What is the message? Is this it? Alright, well, 2 cards came out. Actually 3, and the bottom is the Void. So I guess I have 3 messages from the Marys for you. The Void is the underlying energy, alright, which of course is the vortex, 0 point. It's the Page of Cups. It's pure love. It's where you need to be. And underneath that is Earth Angel, okay? Earth Angels at 0 point is the underlying energy. Can't read you that card because I got 3 to read already. The first one that came out, 24, the Queen of Wands, the space between the words. The second card, Heart Fire, okay, Passion. Number 1, the Magician. the masculine energy, the pure masculine energy, the Page of Wands. Third card, number 22, loving all that is. 22, the Fool, taking that leap of faith, freedom. 22. Okay, we're going to read all three of them. 24 is and by the way, 24 is coming up in honor of my mother who's in the Alzheimer's facility, who's Mary Grace. She is also soul number 24. The spaces between the words. When we look for guidance, we often look for words that clarify, reassure, and help us find our authentic path through the chaos. Yet there's also guidance in the spaces between the words, between each letter, between all the happenings in our lives, where there's nothing to be said, where there are no lines to be colored in, where there is just openness. These or those are the times, and Spirit's connecting with me, that we need to freestyle. We need to do or not do. Oh, that's so weird. They were swimming in the movie last night, and I was thinking of, I don't usually think about wanting to swim, and I was craving getting in a swimming pool and swimming laps, freestyle. So we need to freestyle. We need to do or not do based on what is happening for us right in the moment. Often there's far less to do than we think. Often we don't need to think. There is a space forming around you now. Sometimes when we sense this subconsciously, we feel exhilarated and excited, anxious and nervous, and not even sure why. There's a sense, perhaps, that we wouldn't mind having a map of this unknown terrain, or perhaps we're happy to wing it and make it up as we go. Either way, there is a space to just be. It is a receiver for the divine presence. If you have a lot of space of unknowing around you now, or within you, just know that there is a lot of divine presence to be received, and Spirit is still really strongly connecting with me. It can't be explained, really. It happens between the words, and yet without it, there wouldn't be any words or any guidance at all. This oracle speaks to you. Enter the space and let go, for your time to receive is upon you. Be blessed. Okay? Don't forget, these are messages from Mary and Mary. And I want to bring up that the space between the words is the third energy. It is quantum, quanta. It is the connection. You know how I always talk about 10 is the connection to the next cycle. That's that. The quanta, the Holy Spirit. Okay. The poem reads, day, birth. And we're talking about, we have transformation and birth, which were both in the read. The eastern rise of time. On newborn wings, which we talked about in the sand art, bursts out across the lifeless crowd and sings its climb to heights unknown, the goat, the mountain goat, of beauty, warmth, and power upon its throne, to fade again in western sky, and only for a moment lie, before it takes its course again, to breathe once more in heart of man. And this read was all about man. It was all masculine. So we have from the east to the west, we. And we starts on E, which I always called E towers, the Divine Feminine's heart. We starts, right? So we're talking about going where the sun goes from the east to the west. We, all of us, start at E and end up at W. Perfect. All right, so that's just the first card. The second card we have is number 1, the Magician. Heart fire. Passion is igniting within you. It's not a time when things will remain still, even if the change is only sensed as a subtle stirring underneath the surface of things. Even if slow at first, passion will unfold from within your heart, soon to be burning bright like a sun, unrestrained. You're learning how to ride the waves of passion, through eruptions of heat, and eruptions came up in the reed, and descent into coolness, bearing the absence of fire, only to realize it is returning to you again. Ride its waves, knowing that passionate bliss will always return to a heart that is on fire with love for life. The coolness allows us to experience the heat. Once you realize that the fire emerging from within you will ebb and flow, you will trust in its presence. You'll realize that whether your passionate fire is obvious, drawing you into life, or dwelling quietly within, gaining power from the deepest sources of your being, soon to rise once more, it is a constant in your heart. Accept the fire of your heart, and shaman is coming up for me now, and know that this is how you are meant to be, on fire with love for all that is. This oracle brings a message for you to trust the passion and the fire of your heart to guide your decisions now. What would make you feel most alive? Choose that. If you're feeling a lack of genuine passion in your life, take comfort that it is awakening in your own heart now, bringing something that has been long in rest back to life. And I'm going to read this poem in a second. I just wanted to bridge this by my parents, because like I said, my mother's 24, the Queen of Wands. My parents were Geminis. They were 7 years and 7 days apart. Both of them Geminis, okay? They were the twins. And when I was reading that passion, that love for life, the first thing I thought of, the fire and love for life, was my mother. She was the one who went, for my dad's 80th birthday, instead of staying home for his 80th birthday, she went to Africa on a 3-week safari with a group. And she was, 73 years old. Okay, so my brother and I went out to visit with my dad. But she did a video with my dad, talking about their lives to capture a lot of information for historical purposes. And she talks about that love for life, that there's so much beauty in the world. Okay, and this is someone, in their late 70s to 80s talking about this. The poem reads, life unfolds in wondrous ways, and time together fills the days, with unexpected gifts beyond our wildest dreams, like open hearts as feelings start to face the longing when we part. Our souls know that this is more than what it seems. In gratitude I offer prayer, with thanks for this love so rare, asking guidance on this sweet sojourn, as answers come in tears that flow, emotions raw and smiles that show. Becoming one is worth the wait until I can return. And Spirit's still connecting with me. Okay, so that's those two. The last one is Loving All That Is, number 22. So we end on my shirt number. Perfect. Loving all that is, you wise awakening being. You can love all that is. You can love your tears and your sadness, for they are a testament to your open heart. You can love your numbness and fatigue, for they show that you've worked hard and are now in need of rest. You can love your energy and passion, even when you're so far ahead of the pack, you have to wait a while for everyone else to catch up, and Spirit's connecting. Maybe a day, maybe a decade or so, because you choose not to curb your enthusiasm for anyone. You can love your anger because underneath its fire is a desire for respect, and you can love your peacefulness because within your heart, you really don't care much for fighting sometimes. If there's something that is shaming you, worrying you, challenging you, it's okay to just love it. It will make sense when it needs to, and until then, just love it, even when it hurts. For it's part of your own divine nature awakening. It may just be like a painful cramp happening because it's been curled up for too long. This oracle brings you a sweet message. You are just asked to love. Everything else will take care of itself. And the poem simply states, a state of being, allowing, receiving, becoming one with all that is. Okay? And that's your lesson about being present. You don't have anything to prove to anyone. You deserve to be just as you are, even if you never lifted another finger for the rest of your life. You are worthy of just as much happiness as anyone else. There's nothing you need to justify to just be. Okay? No reason to stress in your life. So just go with the flow, allow, receive. Be one. Don't forget to connect back with yourself when you become disconnected, so you can become, again, one with all that is. And we were just at 10444. Okay, so your angels are definitely with you today. And since it's such a positive day, I'm going to pull one more card from the standard deck like I did yesterday. It was 10501. It has to do with 1 and 10. Now it's 510. Of course, 1 is the Magician again, and 10 is the Wheel of Fortune, and 5 is that expansion energy. It's really the quanta. 3 and 5 are much about that change and the expansion. The quantum leap, the connection. The odd numbers are like the connection to the even numbers. The space between the words. Where the even numbers are the words and the odd numbers are the spaces. The uncomfortableness. Okay, so from the Rider-Waite, this is just the traditional Rider-Waite. I'm going to see, what is the last message here from the Marys? Take a deep breath. Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene, please. What is the last message you have for us? Oh, very interesting. Well, the bottom of the deck is the 8 of Swords, again, reversed, which came up the other day. Okay, so it's about release. Marys are saying release yourself from your prisons. And 10 of Pentacles reverses underneath that. Okay, any connections, even family connections that are no longer for your highest good, it's time for you to release them. And because look what's behind that. Okay, this is the Page of Cups and the Page of Wands in the Garden together. Those are the twins. The twins are there. It's about disconnecting from dysfunctional family and releasing your own prison, whatever you've been keeping yourself in. The cards that came in are confirming that message. It's about the Queen of Cups, which is the Divine Feminine, releasing her emotions and detoxing. This is good. This is detoxing to become this. Okay? Complete satisfaction. All you have to do is let go of some emotions. Because she's upright, she's great. She doesn't have to be manipulative. She can be. You know, when girls are emotional, you know, when you have your period or something, you can be manipulative and moody and snappy. Okay, it's letting go of that and just being Queen of Cups upright, your beautiful, normal, loving self. Detoxing that which is no longer good for you, that which you're tied to, that you no longer need to be tied to, and being satisfied with you. Finding satisfaction, complete happiness on your own, so that you can now get your wish. Perfect message. Okay, drink your water, be happy, rise and be loved, guys. Have an amazing, amazing day.